Hi everyone, I'm Jeannie and welcome back to my channel, the place where you get bookish love and a whole lot of random. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing my February wrap up. Guys, I don't know what happened, but someone come get your girl because I barely finished anything on my February TBR. Because you see, what had happened was I was falling into that rabbit hole of a place, the one we call a reading slump. And I kind of had to take a moment to soak in my regrets and soak in a nice bath and collect myself and get myself together and not fall deep, 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 deep inside that reading slump hole. But let me tell you, I was triggered by one of the books from my February reads. Stay with me while I spill the tea on these books. Book number 1, A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. Here is what I call the good about the books. So something that I really enjoyed about this world is that the author was really able to take us back in time and transport us into that era. So the dialogue and the descriptions that the author used was everything. Like, he nailed that medieval era type, and the world building was for me, I guess maybe being that this is my first adult fantasy, it was pretty phenomenal. I really felt it was rich with so much history and the people, the different I guess towns. I don't know if that's what it is called. I don't remember. But yeah, the culture, the folklore. Mr. Martin did his thing, all right? He did his thing. And I really enjoyed the world building. It was just, like I said, it was amazing. It was phenomenal. 10 out of 10. And then the other thing that I really enjoyed, because we all know that your girl can be a little drama queen, okay? I loves me the drama, all right? And there was a lot. There was a lot of conflict, and I was living for it, okay? I was living for it. And I don't mean conflict, fighting or battles, because that's included in here too. But there was a whole lot of different layers of conflict. And like I said, I really was here for it. I was living for it. I was like, yes, give me more. And guess what? With almost every chapter, Mr. Martin was giving me more. So thank you for that. Then the other thing that I noticed is that magic is not here to get you out of any kind of jam. All right, what I mean with that is that in here, the magic is there, right? But it's pretty low key, it's subtle. The hero is legit a hero, and magic is not solving all the problems and making everything better. And that's something that I really, really loved, because again, that's something that kind of annoys me when it comes to YA fantasy, is that magic is always the driving force and it's always the problem solver. And then it's just out of nowhere, oh, let me sprinkle some magic and that's it, problem solved. We put a band-aid on it, moving on, right? But here it's that's not the case. It's more you need to fight, you need to figure it out, because magic is just there, but it's not tapped into all the time. Okay, so now that all of that is out of the way, I want to take a moment to dedicate this time to Daenerys and John. I absolutely love Daenerys. Daenerys, I think that's how you pronounce it. When I got to her chapter, I just was there for it. I enjoyed it. I always was looking forward to getting to know more about her and meeting her more as a person. And yeah, I was just very happy each time I saw her name on the chapter title. So there's a lot of things that she's been through where there was even moments when I was with her that I had to put the book down because it was like upsetting and it made me sad, so I had to like take a minute there. However, with all those things she's been through, it started making her stronger. And with that, I kind of like related a lot to Daenerys. Your girl Daenerys is badass. That's all I gotta say. And we're leaving that right there.
I have a gift for you as well. Your life.
Then there's John. And he's another character that I really enjoyed meeting because he's like that character that you're going to either love him or hate him. And trust me, guys, like I really did feel both a lot of times. However, what I do love and enjoyed about meeting John is that even though people try to put him down and kind of like keep him, in his place, he would kind of like persevere and show them like, listen, I'm better than that. I'm better than you, and eat it.
They hate me because I'm better than they are.
And I also love that he's such a complex character. Like he's really trying to figure himself out, figure, where he belongs and find his place in the world. If you know me, you just know that I always fall for those characters. I love them. They're my jam. And yeah, John is definitely my jam, at least for now. Okay, so here's the bad. Because of the book's length, and I don't know, guys, if you've seen this book, but this book is chunky, okay? Like it's thick. So I did find myself rather like intimidated by it. So yeah. Then the language and the world is like so dense and so rich and complex, which at times, more so in the beginning, I found myself confused and just kind of like lost in a sense. Like it kind of made me feel like I was just thrown into this world and all this language and like the people and the way they act and stuff like that. I was just like, oh, whoa, hey, hold up. I need some time to like let this sink in and process, okay? All right. Then the other thing that kind of threw me off at times too is this like multi-layered plot and subplots that is just like galore. Like there's like a multi-layered subplot like feast in here. Like there's like so much going on while you're reading this book. I found it so hard to follow at times because it's like 1 minute you over here, next minute you're like here, and then you got this other thing going on, and then you're just like all over the place. Like it legit felt like a sandwich, right? There's like so many layers. You got the layers like the cheese, the turkey, and all that stuff, and then you got the condiments, which are kind of like the sub stuff, like the subplot. Listen, that's the best way I could put it, okay? It also kind of had me wondering if maybe I should have watched the show first and then read the book, because your girl was
pretty lost.
in some parts, but I think that there was a point where I kind of like reached that point of, oh, okay, I'm getting it, I'm there, I think. And here's the ugly. So, the trigger warnings for this is that there's abuse, there's animal deaths and killing, incest, rape, and of course, like pretty graphic violence. And this world is a patriarchy, so there are like a lot of male main characters and they have a lot of power, except for that one exception. And she's a female, and I was just like, oh, thank God for that. And the other thing that some might find ugly is that sex is everywhere in here in this world. That is definitely a driving force. But I mean, is that really such a bad thing? Because I mean, it does happen in real life. At least I think it should. If it's not happening for you, you needs to work on that.
Oh, behave.
Then there is the very ugly, where there was a rape scene of a woman. For me, when I got to that part, there was some parts that I did, have to put the book down. And this was definitely one of them. I had to like put it down. I didn't return to it until like a few days later because, you know, um the rape scene, of course it bothered me, right? But uh this kind of made me feel like the woman was not humanized in a sense. Like that was just it. She was a woman who got raped, basically. I kind of felt like, okay, the main focus was the Rocky, but I also kind of feel like, maybe the author intentionally made it that way so like that we could kind of see the type of men that they are. So I ended up giving this 4 stars. Uh, I really enjoyed being in this world, even though it was complex and so rich and it took me some time. It also was entertaining and thrilling, and it kept me wanting to find out more. With that said, I will be continuing on with this series. However, not this year. So, comment below if you'd be interested in finding out why, and maybe I can come up with a video for that. Book number 2, The Ravens by Cass Morgan and Danielle Page. Let's get into the good. So this book had me at prologue. It kind of hooked me in right from the start. There was a lot going on in that prologue, and I just wanted to find out more. Then the other thing is that it also had me asking so many questions, like even from the start and all throughout the book. I kind of felt like, oh, but why? But who? But maybe. And what? Yeah, it had me like all over the place with questions. Now let's dive into the bad. Okay, so remember when I said I was hooked right from the beginning, right? Well, it was addictive, but at the same time, only because the story wasn't the greatest. I mean, it's a story that, for me, is just played out. Like, it wasn't anything unique, it wasn't anything fresh, it wasn't anything new. It was just kind of like, okay, yeah, this story, I've heard it before billions of times. And yeah. Then I also found it very predictable. I was pretty much able to predict a lot of it, which kind of made it like lackluster for me. Like, I think there was even a point where I started coming up like with these bogus theories because this was a buddy read between me and a few friends, all right? And I was just coming up with so many like bogus theories that I knew really wasn't gonna happen, but in a sense, I kind of wanted it to happen because that would have made the story maybe, like a little different and maybe a little bit more interesting. Yeah. Then there's the villain, right? So it was pretty
Obvious who the villain was.
I figured that one out right from the start. All right, so now the ugly, right? So trigger warnings for this book was gaslighting, theft, murder, and violence. For the characters, right? They didn't really wow me. You know what I mean? Like there was just no connection happening. Like I didn't really care for them. I didn't really grow attached to any. I didn't care to root for them. Like it was just like, yeah, they were just there for me and that kind of sucked. Especially because I love witch stories, okay? I love witchy stories and yeah, I just wasn't into any of the characters. So Vivi, she was okay. I mean, I wasn't like attached to her. I didn't really care if she went north, if she went south, east, west. Like it was just like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then the other main character, which is Scarlet, she was another one. Like she was just this like prestigious girl who, her life is all good. She don't got no worries. All she want to do is make her mom happy. And it's just like, that's just the kind of character that annoys me. So let's just say I was pretty annoyed when it came to Scarlett's point of view. Then there's the two male characters. And to be honest, they were really undifferentiated. Like I kind of felt like when they would come up, it was the same character. There was like plenty times that I was just like, okay, who is this we're talking about? Which guy is it? Yeah. And the only time that I kind of felt like, okay, this is who we talking about is when their name was brought up. So it's like, yeah, that's never a good thing. This had me questioning, why is this a duology? Why? ¿Por qué? Dime, ¿por qué? Like, why? Just tell me. Why? I was so surprised when I found out this was a duology because, to be honest, I went into the Ravens thinking that it was a standalone. And with finding out that it was a duology, I'm gonna be honest, I was even more curious to see where the story was going and how it was gonna end. When the ending came, I was like, huh? This is the ending? Like, it was just something I so wasn't expecting. It was definitely very lackluster to me as well. Like, for real. I was like, are you kidding me? But, anyways, okay, that's out there. Now it's time to rant. Okay, guys. So, I was waiting to rant about this. And don't get me wrong, I did go into like a mini rant within the Buddy Read chat, right? But with video, I will go into a rage about it. Okay, so as I said, this was set in a college, with a sorority, and I just kept forgetting that they were college students and that this was a college. And why? Well, because they did not read as college students at all. Okay? Zero, zip, nothing. Not the sorority, not the parties that went down, not even their actions. Okay? I just felt like the authors would have been better off if they stayed in their lane and just had this set in a high school or a boarding school.
I stay in my lane, people.
So my theory is that even the authors knew that it read more like high school students. And they kind of kept trying to convince me otherwise by constantly using the word sorority in there. Like it was just like a constant reminder, like, yeah, we're in college, this is a sorority, we're part of a sorority, remember that. And I'm just like, okay, like I get it, this is a sorority, like this is a sorority, and these are college students. That's definitely the attitude I had while reading this book. So here goes the ugly of the ugly, right? If I'm being extremely honest, which is all I can be, okay? Like, I cannot sugarcoat things. I don't have a filter sometimes, right? So, the craft even did a better job. They felt to me more like college students than the Ravens did. And it's like, mind you, they were high school students, okay? Now, can you guys tell that I was so triggered by this?
So true, Liz. You sing a lot too. Like, especially during the all sing. Yeah, again, that's true.
So I gave this one 3 stars because to me, it was just okay. To be honest, it still baffles me that this is a duology because that ending kind of felt finalized. However, what I will say is that I am still interested in finding out why is the duology. Yeah, you know, guys, listen, I'm chaotic, I'm ridiculous sometimes, but yeah, I'm still pretty much interested in reading the next book. Book number 3, How Moon Fuentes Fell in Love with the Universe by Raquel Vasquez Gilliland. So this story gave me a nice balance. Like there were moments where it became serious and then moments where it was pretty humorous. And that's a recipe combo that I love. So it touches on purity culture, sex positivity, and toxic Christianity, which I felt it was well written, well developed, and done in a thoughtful manner. And then there's Moon. I had a great old time meeting her. The journey I took with her, with, you know, trying to figure herself out, that whole self-acceptance and loving yourself was such a great ride. She was just so giving. And you know what, guys? And she gave me some more. So, yes, girl, yes. She was so straightforward and sassy and smart mouthed and like rebellious, funny, and had like no filter at all. She had that fuck it attitude that I absolutely love. And I mean, I'm like the fuck it attitude queen, okay? So it makes sense. However, she also did show vulnerability as well. She served that shit on a platter and bared it all. Like she shared moments of loneliness, wanting. Yes. What does that mean, Jeannie? I don't know, because I don't even know if that's a word.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Okay. She shared moments of loneliness, wanting to feel wanted, and most importantly, wanting to feel loved. Even if she went about it and looked for it in all the wrong places. She was just such a raw and honest and real character that I just loved her, okay? Like, she was amazing. Then there's the romance between Moon and Santiago. It was so cute and angsty, which is something that I really, really love in a close proximity, enemies to lovers trope book. And I really love seeing their relationship and how it grew, and the banter and the cute little moments, and the fact that Santiago was like the only one who really saw Moon and tried to break her out of certain things and making her realize that she does matter. And that was very nice to see. Don't get me wrong. There's also points where I just wanted to punch Santiago in the face. But overall their romance and the chemistry was pretty good and I enjoyed it. Okay, so guys, now it's time for the ugly. So the trigger warnings for this one is parental abuse, which was physical, mental, and emotional, depression, loneliness, suicide, loss of a parent, loss of a sibling, dealing with grief, body shaming, slut shaming, racism, sexism, bullying, and sexual harassment. Okay, so now let's talk about Moon's sister, Star. So, to be honest, she really doesn't deserve any acknowledgement or any shine in this video. However, what I will say is that she was so annoying. Then the other thing is that she was just, I don't know, like she was just so fake to me. So it was like when this turn of events happened within the story, to be honest, I didn't feel bad for her. I was like, ha, now you getting what you deserve. Like then it's like I also have to think, try to think in a positive way and be like, oh, it sucks that that happened to you. But at the same time, it's like now you're getting a taste of your own medicine. So yeah, I was pretty much happy that Moon did not forgive her as easily, and she still kind of held that resentment against her sister. And yeah, I was happy about that because that kind of just made the story for me more realistic. And to be honest, as a Scorpio, we hold on to that resentment, okay? Like we hold on to that shit and we don't let it go, okay? It could be years later and we'll be like, so you remember that time that you did this? Well, yeah, just remember that. And then to the ugly of the ugly, the mom. The mom just needed to be yeeted into the trash, okay? Like she needed to go in the trash, like slam dunk her ass into the trash, okay? Because I could not stand her. She was horrible. She was so bad. Like she was horrible, so selfish too. Like, and then putting the blame on everybody. It was just she's just one that I definitely don't really want to talk about because she is definitely the epitome of a bad mom and someone who uses faith in her favor. And it's like tries to put it on everybody else, like, oh, if you don't do this, you're gonna be punished, or if you don't do that. And that's just wrong. And she was just so judgmental. It was ridiculous. This woman was ridiculous. I couldn't stand her. I wanted to punch her, kick her, slap her, everything. Like I was fighting her. Like I just wanted to beat her ass. Okay? Like go Bronx style on her. Like, yeah. But I could not stand her. And I think I said that already. So yeah, let's just cut that and move along from here.
You're just trash.
So with all of that said, and I'm glad you're here to this point of the video, and please still stick around, I gave this one 5 stars. Okay, this one just deserved it, at least in my opinion. This book just gave me life. Okay, it was just perfect. It was everything I needed after the Ravens, and I was so glad that I read this one. So I would love, love, love to hear from you guys. Which of these books have you read? How many books did you finish in February? Did you kind of feel slumpy like me? Would you try any of these books out? You know what to do. Leave that all down in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe and like this video. That means a lot to me. And if you'd like to support me and my content even further, check out my Patreon and enter the shadow fold where all chaotic darklings are welcome. Okay? Or Volcra, if you're a Volcra, we need you in there, right? We need more of that. And as always, I appreciate you taking the time to watch my video. And if you made it all the way to this point, let me know by leaving this emoji. As always, your support means the world to me. Remember to always sprinkle a little kindness and love everywhere you go. I love you guys so much. See you in my next video. Bye.